And if you are ready to get that free resource, drop the word people into the chat, and we are going to send you that free resource today. So I know that I work from home, Reed works from home. How many of you out there are working from home? Let us know where you are watching from. We would love to know if you are working remotely today. Welcome to the Health Coach Tip Tuesday show, where every week we share tips, tools, and resources for health coaches and professionals so you can confidently solve your clients' health issues and grow your career as a health coach or professional. Some of you may know the man next to me. This is Reed Davis, founder of Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. How are you today, Reed?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome.
Looking forward to this.
Always, every Tuesday. Today, Reed is going to be teaching us about what you can do as a health coach to help people on a deeper level. My name is Piper Gibson. I am your co-host and FDN Director of Course Enrollment. So Reed, if you are ready, let's give these people their tip for today.
Okay, what is it?
We're going to talk about what people can do as a health coach to really help people on a deeper level. So we've been hearing a lot about people being immunocompromised. The people that are most at risk for this COVID infection are immunocompromised. So what does immunocompromised really mean?
Well, it's someone who has a weakened immune system, unable to fight disease off. And it's also known as, let's say, immunodeficiency, you might say. So they're just weak, unable to fight off. A lot of times it comes from something they've caught themselves. Like if you have AIDS, you're definitely immunocompromised. If you're on certain medications, you're immunocompromised. You know, you're unable to fight off infections and things. And there's genetic components to it. Maybe some people are just weakened in a genetic way. They catch everything. But you know, I've always said people who are unhealthy, they're immunocompromised. If you have diabetes or any of these inflammatory conditions, things like that, if you're already weakened by mold illness or just about anything, if you're not healthy, you're to some extent immunocompromised. You need to have all your cells firing, all your organs working, all your tissues working, all your systems working the way they were designed, like pretty much 100% or thereabouts. At least that's always the goal. Or you are immunocompromised, immunodeficient.
So where do you think that the immunocompromised person, like that's really the problem? Or is it the fact that we are seeing these immunocompromised symptoms showing up later? And, we talk about symptoms being the last thing to appear. What do you think?
I think it's, the host is the problem, not necessarily the bug. Although there are some bugs that will kick anyone's butt. Be careful, because, what I say is considered vitalism. So vitalism is the belief that, ordinary and healthy is perfectly able to defend against any and all comers. And that's just not true. So I'm what they call a near vitalist. So I believe that the body's able to handle a lot. Matter of fact, personally, I know that I've been eating the same food that someone else got food poisoning from. And I might have got an upset stomach, boy, that was a bug or something. My body just killed it and excreted it. And I was out, like maybe you get a little symptomatic for half a day or a day. There's other people where they eat the exact same toxic food, poison, bugs, whatever it might be, and they get almost die from the same thing. Like salmonella is a good example. It's immunocompromised, can kill you. If you're in really good health, you might get diarrhea for a day or something, whatever, some kind of some. So that's what I mean by it's the host up to a point. So I'm a near vitalist. I'm not a pure vitalist. I could show you on the board behind me.
That's what I was going to ask. Would you like to lay it out for us on the board, Reed?
Yeah. Okay, sure. So not to turn my back to the camera or anything. So I got my little whiteboard here. I like doing this demonstration. Let me raise my table up just a little bit for you. So we have this big organ, and you can hear me okay, right?
Yes, sir.
So I have this big organ up in the skull. It allows you to think. What's that called, Piper?
That would be your brain.
Now the brain's connected to the body, and it communicates with the body through various ways through the blood. You have hormones and immune chemicals, things like that. You have the nerves. The nervous system carries all kinds of signals back and forth. And of course, you have energy or chi and these things. So what's the purpose of all this communication to all these things? Well, we're just going to call it, and I hope you can see this, we're just going to call it function. So the purpose of all this communication is function. And your body is designed pretty perfectly. If you're functioning normally, let's say 100%, what I mean by that is, do you have to tell your cells what their job is ever? No, you don't have to teach the cell what its job is. You just have to make sure it's functioning normally, that it's getting fed, and nothing's interfering with this. So that would be normal. So normal function is designed really well. You should be what? You should be in a state of ease. Now, I borrowed this from an old chiropractor because he talked a lot about the nerves and how that affects. And I just expanded it to, it's not just the nerves. It's everything that goes through your blood. It's all the energy. It's every way your body communicates with every other cell in the body. So if you're functioning normally in a state of ease, would you be healthy?
Yeah, you would feel pretty darn good.
Yeah, but is that how people show up in your office?
No.
Or when they call you? No, they have something, and just making sure you can see it here. We'll call it symptoms because that's what they are. So people show up with symptoms. But a person functioning normally in a state of ease, why would they have symptoms? Because something is wrong. There's something going on. Symptoms aren't normal. There's no such thing as a normal headache or normal throwing up or normal hysterectomy or normal any of these things that we were being told are, well, normal, you know, or well, they're just not normal, put it that way. So there must be some sort of dis-ease process. Hope you can see that. Yeah. So there's a dis-ease process. That's why symptoms occur. But we just said this person's healthy. So there must be a loss of normal function. Something has gone out of whack. And we call that malfunction, or you could call it dysfunction. So there must be some malfunction or dysfunction, creating a disease process, which ongoing goes through the body and ends up somewhere as a symptom. And so we call this the brain body diagram. Now, most people coming in are coming in for relief care. They want relief for their symptoms. So let's say you give them something. Now, this is not exactly how we operate, right? I'm just saying in standard medicine, you're going to get pills or maybe even surgery. You can get rid of the symptoms, which are common, but never normal. But have you changed anything if you just treat the symptoms? No. So the person still has their disease process. And those symptoms might go away for a little while, but they'll probably come back, sometimes with a vengeance. You know, you need stronger and stronger pills. Eventually, you just cut the parts out. You know, if it's gallbladder, well, there's gallbladder pills, and eventually you take the gallbladder out. For ovaries, you know, women having these kind of problems and things, you can just take those out later too, once pills don't work anymore. And so and the reason is it's not changing anything. So symptoms will come back sometimes with a vengeance, or they could appear as a whole new set of symptoms. It gets the same disease process. While you're suppressing these ones, something else is going to show up somewhere, right?
Right.
So what we prefer, what we would want to do is look for the different types of stress. There's a word you never heard before. And actually, you could probably call it distress. So distress, disease, pretty cool. Distress comes in all kinds of forms, mental, emotional. That can cause a lot of trouble in the body. It can suppress or change hormones. It can be caused by a lot of things, but that has a tendency to cause malfunction, the body disease processes, and eventually symptoms will show up. So it could be mental emotional stress, it could be physical stress, such as trauma and accidents and repetitive motion and just plain bad posture and these sorts of things, micro traumas and stuff. And where we tend to specialize in our field is in the chemical or biochemical stressors. So there's all this stuff in the environment, not to mention bacteria, funguses, parasites, viruses, as we all know today. There's electromagnetic frequencies and radiation, and you just name it. I mean, I'm looking outside over here at this beautiful blue sky with a few clouds in it, but I know there's hidden things in that atmosphere, and in the water, and in the food, and in the furniture, and in everywhere, you know. So there's all this chemical and biochemical stress. Some of it's actually made in our own bodies. You know, the body makes waste products in it when it's functioning, and if they're not recycled or excreted properly, you know, you get this buildup of things. So there's a lot that can sort of go wrong, if you will, and build up, if you will. That's why I just call all of it metabolic chaos. I'll just write MC. I know we're getting pretty crowded on the board here, but so when you have metabolic chaos, you have disease processes. That's actually just sort of part of the same thing. It's all metabolic chaos. Symptoms are the result of metabolic chaos. Until what? Until metabolic chaos becomes the actual real problem. Like you could call it, oh, I've got this, and I've got some of that too, and I got some of this, and I got some of this. Mm-hmm. And then it goes into the body and it creates dysfunction. It affects the hormones and the immune system, digestion and detoxification, energy production, and the nervous system. And it all gets affected. So, you know, symptoms are never the problem. I guess the real question is, how willing are you to go upstream and look for these sorts of things? And when you know what the steps are to restoring normal function, you don't have malfunction anymore, dysfunction. You're back to normal function. If you can get the body functioning normally again, then the disease goes away. You go back to state of ease. And I'm not going to go over there and grab it. You know, symptoms just go away. They disappear. So restoring the body to normal function is the key. We have our formula for doing that. You know, getting the body back into a state of ease where it's healthy again is how you eliminate or deal with just about any health condition that will come across your plate, you know. And that's only when you know what the steps are.
Fantastic.
So if you know the steps, yeah, so thank you. I'm going to sit back down.
Awesome. Thank you, Reed. I love that brain body diagram. I think it gives people a fantastic visual of where things are starting, where things are ending, and how you can really look at those symptoms and look at that metabolic chaos. Hey, everybody who are just joining us, thank you. If you have questions, Reed loves to answer them, so make sure to drop your questions. Let us know where you are joining us from today. I'm in New Mexico. Reed, where are you located?
I'm in San Diego.
Awesome.
Outside and up in the hills.
Fantastic. So we've got Karen and Kimberly. Hi, Chip, Sabrina, Kia, Charmine. Thank you for joining us today. Let us know if you have questions. If you are just joining us, drop the word people into the chat, and we are going to send you our free gift for today. So make sure that you drop that in there. Reed and I are talking about how health coaches can help people on a deeper level. Reed just talked to us about the brain-body diagram, and we talked all about symptoms. Reed, how do you think health coaches can make a bigger impact in the world? How can we help people to see a greater change?
I think there's actually a lot of ways. If you can make them change their behavior, you can have a real good effect on them and on the whole world. So health coaches help people, you know, assess their goals and set goals, but they're also supposed to be able to help them plan on how to get there. So everyone knows that the reason people fail, the reason businesses fail is because you aren't organized, you don't have goals, or they're not clear enough, and you don't have a plan to get there. So whether it's your health or whether it's your business, you need to organize, have a good organization. You need to have good goals, keep setting them, and then you need a plan to get there, and you need to be able to check that plan out along the way. So what we found is really, really, really helpful. It's easy enough to set the goals. You know, if with an organized person, I don't work for people who aren't organized enough to get out of bed on time and go to work and make a living, you know, and so that they can hire me. You know, you have to be, you just can't deal with really unorganized people. So say that's in place. Now you can help them set their goals. Well, the plan is going to be dependent upon those goals and the obstacles they're going to have to overcome to get there. So what are those obstacles? Well, you don't know. And you'd be completely guessing at what those obstacles are if you don't run some lab work. And so that's why we run our labs. We need to know, well, what are the obstacles to healing? What are the obstacles to them? Then their body's expressing health in a natural way. It could be hormonal, could be immune system, could be their digestion, could be detoxification. There are ways to measure those functions back to the board. Well, you know, how is this functioning? How's that functioning? Now, this is not the same as a medical diagnosis where you're running a lab to label something so that you can introduce an agent to have an effect on the numbers on the paper. Oh, look, you know, your thyroid's better now. Why? Because you changed the numbers with the drug? You know, they're not better. All you've done is treat the symptom. That's not a bad thing, by the way. Making symptoms go away is very helpful, and people are generally happy. So I think that have an organization, just like in our business, it's very organized. The way we go about our assessments, the way we go about designing a holistic lifestyle program. We have a system. It's very organized. We follow the steps. You know, and all you need are the goals, a person to work with on the goals, and you need then the plan to get there. So they're gonna, you got to know what the obstacles are, and have ways of overcoming them over time. It does take time, and typically within 90 days, the average coaching program the model I teach is, well, let's get you going for 90 days. What can we expect to happen in 90 days? You know, that's part of the goal setting and planning. Just 90 days, that's all. Just give me 3 months and let's see what we can turn around. Now, there's things that aren't going to go away in 90 days, but you're going to be making really good headway. You're going to have taught that person everything they need to know to do the next 90 days or the next 90 days. And we can continue to service them along the way.
We hear a lot about the stressed healthcare system. And not just now in our current situation, but you know, for a while we've been hearing about the stressed healthcare system. How do you think health coaches can help relieve some of that stress, Reed?
Well, we just went over some of the stressors, mental, emotional. You know, that's not a real specialty of mine because I tend to be a person who doesn't stress a lot. I naturally am very parasympathetic dominant. Mm-hmm. So parasympathetic types are not your A personalities. We're way laid back. Like, you know, I don't own a suit type of parasympathetic dominant. I can certainly afford one. I just don't like wearing them, you know. So I'm laid back. My manner of speech is laid back. It doesn't mean, you know, we're kind of like more like turtles. We get up and we go all day long. We can keep going and going and going and going and going and going and going. And then we go to bed and we get up the next day and do it again. You know, so parasympathetics just don't stress a lot. I have prayer. I have tapes. I listen to tapes. You know, when I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock at night, I'm like kind of excited to get in bed and get a good night's sleep. I look forward to it. Time to go to bed. I'm going to bed. I'm gonna plug in my device and I'm gonna listen. And you can talk about EMFs. I actually have on the back of it an EMF filter, and I have filters in my room, and I do a pretty good job of filtering out my EMFs in the house. But yeah, I listen to really cool tapes. I have my special ones, and then I seem to wake up happy, you know. So, but I just got off the phone with a post grad. I did a post grad interview right before this call. And so I still interview every graduate of the course, everyone. For 12 years, I've done that. I get great ideas. I'm looking for feedback. and to see how I can help you moving forward. And one of the things that she mentioned about was I think it's one of the Ivy League schools, Harvard or somewhere. They're now teaching happiness classes. Like they've had happiness to their course you could pay for and take. Well, hell, that tells you right there we need health coaches, because, and that's what we do in a sense, is we go out there and we help people be, if you're healthier, you're happier. So that element of dealing with stress, the happiness quotient, if you will, is really important. And so again, I'm not a psychologist or a psychoanalyst or any of the things that would go deep diving into your past and all these sorts of things. I just know that you can turn it around, and that there are techniques, and that you need to be a happy person. And you won't be happy ever if you're not healthy. So that's how I relate it to stress. Like I just, man, I've had some stuff dumped on me. I'm sequestered right now, alone on a hill. It could be stressful, but I find stuff to do. Earlier in the morning, I was out there chopping some trees down and stuff. There's just lots of ways to de-stress. Now, when it comes to that physical stress, that's actually where I might need some help. I mean, I do have injuries from sports. I wrestled, I surfed, I rode motorcycles a lot. I still do. And these things that hurt my body. I've got a well-used body. I've pretty much used up skiing. I've had skiing injuries on knees and neck and stuff like that. So a well-used body is going to need some. It's another kind of stress that you have to get checked out, and you got to deal with it. You got to do your exercises if it requires it. You're stretching, you're strengthening. I take a lot of supplements, a lot of them for inflammation, joint mobility. Right here is a good one. This is one of maybe 6 different supplements I take every single day to make sure my joints and inflammation and all my stuff. I need full range of motion. I don't want to be one of those geezers who's gimping around all the time.
No, I hear you. We take a ton of supplements too. I line everybody up and I'm like, here, take the supplements. So yes, we do a lot of that too, because it's definitely helps to be a little bit preventative.
And last but not least, you got your chemical stressors, and you just have to mitigate, and be aware. Be aware of what's in your food, what's in the air, and what's in the water, and avoid those things. You have to be aware of what's in your household cleaning products, what's in your personal care products. Like my shampoo is totally, chemical free. You see the job it does?
It does.
No, you have to. Yeah. So I think laughing and de-stressing is really critical. It doesn't mean I don't take care of my responsibilities. I guarantee you that.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I love what you said about, health coaches are a little bit of a happiness coach too, because we are helping people to get their lives back on track and feel good and be happy again. So I love that. Do you have a tip or topic you would like to send everybody away with today?
Well, there's, with today's environment and what's going around, I don't even want to say the word because I'm sick of it, but there's bad things out there that will kick your ass if you're not healthy. So your job is to be healthy for yourself, for your family, and for your community. And you can spread the love, but it starts with setting an example. So, I mean, I'm not going to talk about washing the hands and cleaning the counters and all the things about. I've been telling people for 10 years, if they sneeze, get a hanky, buddy. Hey, you never heard of a hanky? Like just cleanliness and hygiene are supposed to go without saying.
Right.
So there's all that. But being healthy requires consideration for those things. Like I said, be organized. Organize yourself in such a way that you can and set your goals. Like, I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to get old before my time. Whatever your goals are, I'm going to. You might have some particular physical goals about the way you look or feel that are really important to you. Write them down. And then plan. You got to plan on how to get there. I like finding out what the obstacles are by running lab work. oh, gee, I didn't know my hormones were that far out of whack. Don't people say that to you all the time? And
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
know my digestion was that bad. I didn't know I had leaky gut. You know, all the oh, look, geez, look at those bugs. Where the hell did they come from? You know, so we educate people. We again, there's the organizing and the goal setting is kind of easy. It's that planning on over, you know, and that requires knowing what the obstacles are. What do you have to plan around, over, or through, and then we can get somewhere.
Yes, absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Reed, for another great episode of Health Coach Tip Tuesday. Thank you, everybody who joined us today. If you are watching the replay, make sure to drop the word people into the chat. We are going to send you our free resource for today. You are going to get a link. Reed is going to be hosting his monthly webinar this afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be HPA access and sex hormone testing for health coaches. So drop the word people and you will get that link to sign on. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you found some valuable information. We will be back here next week, same time. Thank you again, Reed.
Hey, thank you. See you later.
Bye,
See you next.
everybody.